Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is another video on this channel. In fact, it is my third one that I am uploading. As you well know, my channel is about self-improvement, self-help, and in general how to make improvements in your life and make it better. In this video we're going to talk about how to maximize your mental health, improve your focus, and level up your charisma as a man. So, in this video, we're going to start off by the mental health part, which is, as you all well know, a major part these days and these years, because in general people are more online, they're more chronically online, they view more stuff on the internet that can affect them, which can affect their mental health as well. We're exposed to more content online, we're exposed to music, to news, if you are watching the news. In fact, I'm not really much of a fan, and I mostly avoid them because of personal issues. And yes, so mental health is an important part of today's society. So starting off, the way to improve your mental health, first of all, you need to stop consuming as much content. Stop being on social media less, stop getting triggered online by different posts that you may see in videos, on social media feeds, etc. Some major examples of triggering content that I see online these days a lot is the constant gender war between men and women. It's the unrealistic expectations that people have from relationships these days, especially Gen Z, because we hear a lot from women online these days that they want these specific aspects in a man, and sometimes it's hard to attain them because there's a lot of hard work involved. Some women you hear online that they want too much money, for example, in order to date them. So yeah, it's difficult for men to step up in their dating game and reach these expectations that women may have, for example. There's also a lot of online dating advice, which is not relatively a bad thing, but it can cause a lot of confusion in modern relationships. And from my experience, I advise men to avoid depressing videos or reels that can cause you to be more sad in general. And also another generational issue that Gen Z has, as well of course as any other previous generation, as we all know, is that our generation has it better than our grandparents, for example, than our parents, which can sometimes be annoying to hear all the time and can cause extra stress to a person without needing. So let's analyze a bit the men vs women debate that we see constantly being thrown at us on the internet, for example. The internet is turning dating into a competition between men and women, which is not a good thing, because as a society, in order to survive, and in order that we survived all those thousands of years, men and women cooperated in jobs, in the government work, lawyers, whatever. And in today's society, algorithms in social media, for example, tend to reward outrage, extremes examples of bad behaviors from men and women, and this can cause problems for both genders. For example, social media algorithms social media algorithms sometimes are created in such a way that it feeds misogynistic content to young men. For example, Andrew Tate is one of these influencers that young men tend to idolize sometimes these days, which is kind of alarming if you ask me, because he has some criminal records and he's not an overall really good person to look up to. And on the other side, on the women's side, there's also misandrist content coming from them, thrown out from different directions all the time, so it's a bit confusing for both genders. We have to understand that we're not at war, and it's time to start talking and appreciating each other again and lifting each other up as our parents and grandparents did. So there are some bad apples on the dating market these days from both sides, men and women, but it's quite important to understand that if we communicate better with each other, we can face these fears and we can build better relationships. One thing that we also have to cover here is that a bad experience with one person isn't evidence about an entire gender. For example, all men are cheaters or all women are whores is a common example that we hear all the time on social media, and men keep complaining about women and this and that, and on the other side women are complaining about men that all men cheat or they're abusive or narcissistic, etc. So it is common to see these types of videos these days, and it's easy for a person to fall into generalizations and to make assumptions about everyone else, which of course is not true. It's important to understand that this whole gender wars agenda makes money for social media influencers, which these content creators benefit from audiences online and get revenue and get money from the viewers. So this is a really important factor we have to take consideration with. So to conclude, the gender war thing doesn't need to disappear because men and women disagree. It just needs some recalibration, if you ask me. We need to find solutions to build better relationships, become better version of ourselves, each one of us. Start working out more, work on yourself, read more books, etc. What I cover on my videos, for example. So yes, it needs to diminish when disagreement stops being interpreted as evidence that the other sex is the enemy. So this is all about what I had to talk about the gender war on social media. So moving on how to improve your mental health. Second of all, take accountability for your actions. Perhaps you made a mistake at work. Perhaps your boss was mad at you that you didn't complete your work, or you got fired from your job. You need to take accountability for your actions and understand that, okay, I have to improve myself in some factors and become better at my job, be more polite, be more understanding with the customers, be a better engineer if you're an engineer, for example, and much more. So to improve being a better employee, for example, and a very simple way to do it is go back home and make a diary with what things you have done wrong, write them down on a piece of paper, read them out loud so you can remember them, and then understand that you can focus on these and improve yourself. And also write down what other things you want to change at your workplace. The next sector I'm going to talk about is about the men that are on self-improvement, which is NoFap. Basically, NoFap is a movement that we saw online the past years, that has become much more common these days, which is basically avoiding watching porn, for example, avoid fapping, and avoid lustful content, which is very common these days, especially for young men. For example, you open social media and the very first thing that the algorithm shows you is like half-naked women. So yeah, it is a problem of modern society that we have become much more lustful compared to previous generations, which, if you ask me, it's kind of sad. So create a NoFap diary and write down when do you have lustful thoughts, when do you get sexual triggers, etc. And in general, avoid porn and other websites that trigger sexual thoughts that may lead you to relapse in your NoFap journey as a man. Youth propelled him to become the man he is today, which he is one of the most disciplined and toughest men on the planet right now, if you ask me. And he's a great figure to some extent for me and for a lot of other young men that they look up to him. So Can't Hurt Me is one of his books. Never Finished is another one of his books, again written by David Goggins, in which he explains how to become a more mentally tough person. Factfulness, written by Hans Rosling, which he's a really great modern author and writer, in which he explains how the world we see today is much better than we think, and how people have wrong views about the world today, and that we're in a much better place than we actually think we are. Atomic Habits by James Clear, which is a book about improving and creating better habits in your life, creating routines and following these routines. Surrounded by Setbacks, which is a book written by Thomas Erickson, as you can see here. And lastly, The Way of the Superior Man, written by David Deida, which I don't have here to show you. But it is a great book, which is about how to become a better man, how to control your lust, and how to become better with women. So I can show you the books here. This is Surrounded by Setbacks by Thomas Erickson. Really great book, highly recommended. Factfulness, which is the second book, written by Hans Rosling. 10 Reasons We're Wrong About the World and Why Things Are Better Than You Think, New York Times bestseller. And Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. One of my favorite books. I started reading 2-3 weeks ago that I bought it, and it is a great book as well. So moving on, How can someone improve his or her focus in the digital age that we're living? The very first step that someone needs to take to become better is switch off any technology. Switch off your phone, switch off your TV, and switch off your computer. Live without technology for some time, and you will understand that we're constantly bombarded from all directions with news, feeds, videos, infinite content. It's exhausting for all of us, and we all know the dangers of it. So my advice is stay on the internet less, consume less content, and create more. You can create videos, you can create stuff with your own hands. That is something that we have forgotten as humans perhaps these days, because we're more on our phones and we consume more instead of creating. This is a very important one, a very important factor to also improve your mental health, which is listen to less music. Unfortunately, modern music has become very dopaminergic, if you ask me. There's too much loudness in it, there's too many curse words, unfortunately, in modern rap culture or pop culture, more immorality and degeneracy, and in general less romance, which is a pity, and it's kind of sad to see these days that the younger generations are exposed to more lustful content, even when it comes to songs and music. Music in general tires your brain, it exhausts your brain and puts you into a more alert state, more hyper alert state, and it's not good for you to listen to music a lot. So my advice, if you want to listen to music, listen to more chill music, listen to ambient music, listen to nature sounds, listen to classical music, which has no words, no lyrics, nothing, just plain sounds. Fourth on the list is meditation. Meditation has helped me a lot in my young years with anxiety, with stress. In fact, a friend of mine has suggested Medita, which is a great application on your phone that you can install, which is about meditation and about learning to focus on your thoughts, learning to focus on specific sounds, learning to cope better at your own life while having your own difficulties, and much more, of course. Sit in silence. As Gen Z, we're very used to being constantly on our phones, so we have forgotten, like these years, how it is to genuinely sit at your bed and look at the ceiling. And I assure you, you will feel much better about your life. You might feel bored at first, but why is boredom a bad thing? Why have we demonized boredom so much? The problem with humans these days is that they don't get bored at all, which is in fact a really bad way to live life. You need to be bored sometimes, and in fact boredom is great for you, because boredom makes you more creative, and boredom makes you into discovering new stuff yourself. So be more bored, if you ask me. Last on the list is cold showers. I have been exposed to cold showers more and more the past few years, and I assure you that it's a great way to de-stress yourself, your body and your mind. And in general, cold showers trigger a shock response and release key brain chemicals such as oxytocin that improve your well-being and release stress, as well as improve your blood flow. So the last pillar of the video is how to improve your charisma. And if you're a man watching this, how to also improve your charisma and your level of confidence with women as well. That is something I know a lot of young men need to hear these days, and they have trouble with women and attracting women perhaps as well. So first on the list is talk to more people outside. Get outside your house more, socialize, find social circles. I think this is one of the main reasons that a lot of young men are really lonely these days. So get yourself out there, find yourself a social circle. It could be something much more simpler than you may imagine. Go to a music club, like a band, orchestra at your university, for example, if you're a university student. Sign up for a marathon if you're into sports and running. Go to a concert, even that is considered socialization these days. Or take a dancing class, which, if you ask me, dancing is a great way to actually be better with women, be more open to dancing with them, and become less scared of actually talking to women, which a lot of young men struggle these days. And you will improve. Trust me, I've used it myself and it actually helps a lot. Dancing is a great way to meet women these days, I feel like. So start by taking small steps as you get to work. And for example, you can talk to the bus driver, you can talk to a woman or man that's sitting to the next seat by you. Talk to someone, give a compliment. Show them love and affection, even if they're strangers that you have never seen again. So, take that step and your life will improve day by day. Second on the list is approach someone at the gym, if you're a regular gym goer like me, and start a conversation. I know sometimes small talk is a bit annoying and a bit difficult for some of us that have less social skills, but it's a great way to start slowly on building your charisma and your confidence. So start small talk with a woman or a man by first of all acting friendly and giving advice on how to improve their form on some exercise, if you know better than them, or if you know if you are good at a specific exercise. Small talk can be something really simple at the gym. For example, something along the lines, your physique is quite impressive, or I admire your hard work and the passion that you put into the gym. Or I really admire the work that you put into this exercise or into your fitness goals. Note that if you're talking to a woman at the gym, so in order to not sound her feel like a creepy guy and scare the girl away, do it in a non-flirtatious way so that she doesn't get scared and you don't get labeled as a creep or as a weird man. Third of all is create and set personal goals. Write down what you want to do with yourself. Where do you see yourself in some years, next year, couple months? But start small by writing small goals and small tasks for the upcoming days or weeks, for example. That on week 1 I want to do etc. I want to do this and this and this. Keep going and keep stacking. Moving on to creating and setting personal goals. Set small steps, like I said, and follow these steps to reach your goals and become the best version of yourself. The fourth pillar I want to talk about, which is one of my favorite ones and it's one of my dreams, is to create a community to help other men, younger generations, my generation, older men in general, with their mental health, exercise and much more. So these are the main pillars that my videos are about, basically. Lastly, on how to level up your charisma, is smile and be more positive. Even if you're going through some struggles in your life, even if you're a bit depressed for some reason or you have been chronically depressed for some years, smile more. People, trust me, gravitate towards more positive people in general and people that have positive vibes, so you will have much success with other people, both men and women, especially women in the dating market as well. So smile more, be more confident, and learn to flirt as well. That was the video. I hope that you found it useful and I will see you on the next one. Peace. Stay disciplined, stay strong and stay mindful. Adios. And remember, you're not competing against others, you're competing against yourself. So become the best version of yourself and become the version of yourself that your future self would be proud of. Adios.